Hey guys, Rob here with eBuy Gaming, and today we're going to be doing episode 2 of our series on how to become a streamer. In this episode I'm going to be looking at some of the encoding options that are available for your stream and talking about the pros and cons of these. I'll summarise this video with what I believe to be the best option for someone that's just starting out with streaming. This is going to be the option that provides the best quality without completely breaking the bank. So the first option that we're going to look at is the X264 encoder, which has been the most common option for streaming over the last few years. This option offers the best quality but will utilise a high percentage of your processor's resources, which can cause frame rate issues in your games depending on the power of your processor. Certain games such as Battlefield 5 and Apex Legends will utilise almost all of your CPU capability, and therefore trying to stream th64 games using the X264 encoder can often cause in-game lag and other performance issues. For less intense games and older games, CPU encoding can be a great option, as these will often not use as much of the processor and allow your stream to maintain a solid frame rate and crisp quality. If you're looking to stream more demanding games on a single PC, then you'll definitely want to be looking at either an i9-9900K or a Ryzen 9 CPU to be able to handle this load. In my opinion, this is an option to consider if you've got a large budget for your PC, but for low budget systems you may run into issues with performance. It's definitely still cheaper than using a dual PC setup, and with a bit of tweaking you can definitely find a good balance between performance and quality. So the main pro of X264 is that it does have superior quality in certain scenarios, and that's why it's been the most popular option for many years. The main con of this option is that it can cause performance issues with more intense games, and it can be more expensive, as in most cases it will require a more powerful processor. So the next encoder we're going to look at is NVENC or NVENC encoder, which is an encoder that comes built in with NVIDIA graphics cards. One of the best advancements in streaming tech over the last year has been from NVIDIA with the introduction of their updated NVENC encoder. This encoder uses your GPU to capture gameplay and display this in OBS, with a variety of presets and options that you can customize. In my opinion, for someone just starting out streaming, this is the most cost-effective and easy way to record gameplay, as it has minimal impact on your game experience while providing fairly good quality for the stream. I found that sometimes this encoder will drop frames in OBS if the game is running at max settings, so this works best with a capped frame rate in your game. If your game doesn't have a built-in frame rate limiter, you can download software such as Riva Statistics Server and set a frame rate limit for your game. I tend to limit my games to 60 FPS, which provides smooth gameplay on stream and is acceptable for me when playing games. It's also worth noting that the newer version of this encoder is only available on certain GPUs. I've included a link to these in the description of this video. So the main pro of this encoder is that the quality is close to that of X264, and it has a minimal impact on gameplay experience. There's also plenty of presets that you can switch between to work out what's going to be best for the type of game that you're playing. The main con of this is that sometimes you'll require to cap your frame rate to ensure that your stream doesn't start dropping frames. Obviously, if you're trying to play high intensity games like Apex Legends at high refresh rates, this is going to be an issue and potentially not the best option for you. However, this will depend on the power of the GPU that you're using, and some of the more higher end GPUs will be able to run at around 120 to even 144 FPS without you having to cap the FPS to ensure that the stream doesn't lag. The final option for encoding is using a dual PC setup, which you can do either using a capture card or through NDI. Most professional streamers will use a dual PC setup, which basically involves having a second computer that does all of the encoding. This is a great option for getting the absolute best quality for your stream, but it will require you to buy a second system and also mean that your setup can get quite messy, requiring 2 sets of peripherals and an additional monitor. It can also be a bit fiddly when it comes to managing your audio outputs and definitely takes a lot longer to set up. If you're playing fast-paced games where you need to be playing at 144 FPS, then I'll definitely recommend looking at this as a potential future upgrade for your stream setup. For new streamers, I would stick to one of the first 2 options unless you have a significantly high budget. The main pro of this option is it does offer superior quality over the single PC streaming setups, and it allows you to run your games at max performance. However, this is much more expensive to use and it's also much harder to set up and will take a lot longer. So for reference, our stream is done on a single PC and I switch the encoder between X264 and NVENC depending on the game that we're playing. I also limit the FPS using the Riva Statistics Server that I mentioned earlier, which keeps the stream looking smooth and ensures that the game FPS stays consistent. In conclusion, I think the best option for new streamers is to buy a GPU that can benefit from the new NVENC encoder. This can help save on the total cost of your system while also still providing good quality for streaming at 720p 60 FPS. It's worth noting that as a new streamer on Twitch, you are capped at 6000 bitrate anyway, and 720p 60fps is about the sweet spot for that bitrate. If you have the budget, you could pair this with an i7, i9 or Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9 CPU to allow you to do what we do on our stream, where we switch between encoder depending on the game we're playing. For partner streamers that can stream at a higher bitrate and have a higher budget, we would definitely still recommend having a dual PC setup as the best option for superior quality. Especially when you're moving up to 1080p 60fps, this is going to be the best option. I mean, you can play your games maxed out and not have to worry about the stream affecting the quality of your gameplay. Ultimately, one of the key factors here is going to be the type of games you're playing, and this is going to be worth considering when you're deciding which encoder to go with. I think the best all-round option for new streamers is definitely the Nvidia encoder, and pairing that up with a Ryzen 7 or a Ryzen 9 CPU would allow you to test out both X264 and NVENC in your streams. If you guys have any questions about this, then feel free to leave a comment below. If you like this video, then leave us a like. If you dislike this video, then leave us a dislike and let us know what you think we could have done better. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in